Blame Murray, man. Every week he does something so cool, and every week there's a stupid little thing that stops the try from happening. Look at this poor crowd. Rugby. Hello, and lucky you. You are looking at a Super Brew pool champion. That's right. I was part of a massive Six Nations pool with 6 whole players, one of whom didn't even pick any games, and I won. So who's better to give you the rugby update? No one. Also, speaking of the Six Nations, that grand tournament is over now, and France won. Congratulations! You came from behind and you've put up the numbers that we all thought you should be able to, given your massive local talent pool. The tour in New Zealand awaits. I'm excited. There is a power rankings to get done. I have read all the reports, I have unbiased my biases, and I've watched all the games again. So, this should be very accurate and tracking the table at the end of the day. Let's hope. Also, I'm going to chuck in my favorite player from each team. Why not? Okay, I am tracking the table so far, and I agree that Wales have been shite. Their greatest ever coach left mid-tournament, and but for 60 minutes after the new guy came in where they did actually smile, they have reverted to type. It's hard to say if they are getting better or worse. 17 losses in a row now, 8 in a row at home, and a new record against England, their most hated enemy. It's bad, man. And it's gonna get even worse. The WRU is a weekly scandal generating machine. They have a club called Neath that is fucking terrible at marketing. The Ospreys literally exist, and when asked if their new interim coach will stay on after the tournament, he gave one answer: no. It's not all bad though. Their best player has been Jack Morgan. And as I pointed out last week, the guy is a stats monster. He is their Michael Hooper to the Wallabies, the Sergio Parise to Italy, the Jacques Fourie to the Lions. And who knows, you can point at this guy and say, that team is shit, but that guy could be a Lion himself. We'll see if Andy agrees. Table discarded. This is a power rankings, not a points at the end of the day rankings, and Scotland are lacking power. I put on my big engineer brain and I went and looked at all the minutes played by all the forwards across the competition from all the teams. And until this past weekend, Scotland had used the least amount of forwards. And amongst those they used, 9 of them are being flogged like dust bowl horses. That is why they are way down here. Their coaches refuse to accept modern rugby concepts, and they will keep losing to bigger teams until they do. I have labored the point to death over the last few weeks, but rugby is a 23-man game. And until you start using your bench, no matter how bad they are, you will always lose against teams that do use their bench effectively and early. You might be super competitive up to 50 or 60 minutes, just like Scotland were, but once those fresh boys come on, you just keep going backwards. Xander Fagerson played almost all the minutes. He's a prop. Again, it's not all bad though. They do have Blair Kinghorn. The weirdo fullback made everyone forget about the hog while he ran back and ran back and ran back ball to make up the most meters in the tournament, setting up nice counter-attacking opportunities for Scotland. If it was me, he would be fairly dark penciled in for the Lions. We'll see if Andy agrees. It is my list, and my list has Ireland down here not because I'm mad, but because I'm disappointed. Third on the table because they lost heavily to France, and fourth in my heart because their wins were actually a bit closer than expected. They were behind at halftime against England, bloody Wales and France this year, and even Italy were within 2 points when the bell rang. Not the all-conquering, hard-hitting, slick-moving green machine I'm used to. They are going through some tactical changes with a lot more kicking and a lot less running. And Simon Easterby was the substitute teacher, just losing grip on the class by the end of the day before the bell mercifully rang. With Andy Farrell back in this box next year, they might be purring like their daddy's Ferraris again. Their best player is tough. It's between Dan Sheehan and James Lowe, but I'm going to pick James Lowe. His boot and booty are very important to Ireland, and you could see they missed his exits against France. His combination with Dan Sheehan in the corner also leads to a lot of points, so Having him in the Lions team to kick the ball far and to cause trouble in dead man's corner will be very important. We'll see if Andy agrees. Yes, they got smashed by France, and their game against England was the usual, maybe this year, no, forget about it, fair. But they do score some blinded tries, between giving away just the stupidest penalties you've ever seen in your life. It also looks like they have a higher ceiling that they haven't reached yet, but it will take a lot of time with a defensive coach, and if such a thing exists, a disciplined coach. At least it's another year of not finishing bottom and not being winless, so those are pluses. Hopefully soon we can have a 2-win year regularly. It might be possible because they have Menoncello, a fucking baller. The kid is as fast as a winger, he combines beautifully with breaks, and he hits like he's as dense as concrete. Unfortunately, he will not be getting a Lions call-up because he is neither B nor I. Fortunately though, I might be able to see him in person and just hurl the vilest abuse at him when he's playing against my beloved Springboks at Loftus in July. Hopefully. Only a few more wins here and there before we all get to truly fucking hate England again. Me and a few others have said that they do seem to be building slowly and steadily, constantly, and only last year's multitude of tests against New Zealand muddied the waters. It's tough for anyone playing those guys. England never seem to lose by a lot. They always put up a bastard of a fight. And they also never seem to win by a lot, but they do put bad teams away properly. Borthwick seems to be turning into quite the astute selector. His back rows and his back threes are always very interesting because that kind of tells you how they're going to play. Something I never thought I'd say about Borthwick. Sorry. That's enough praise now for the Poms as a team. I can still praise the individual though, and Maro Itoje has been my favorite for the year. Since he became captain, it's dialed back the penalty generator in him, and he's become a lot more clean. Still a bastard, but a lot more clean. I don't know if there's another lock as locked in as him to start in the team, so maybe this guy is going to be the BNI Lions captain. We'll see if Andy agrees. Holy shit, I love watching this team play. Other than their game against England where their hands turned into rocks, they were a rugby tsunami. In the first few games they went 6-2, but in the last 3 they went fuck it, 7-1. That is a team after my meat-loving Safa heart. And they used those forwards well. In every game except the England one, funnily enough, they replaced a lot of their forwards just before 50 minutes, using that bomb squad tactic properly. And has been said plenty of times, the bomb squad tactic is not just about who comes on, it's about what the starters do, how hard they work to tire out the opposition starters. The tries that flowed in the second half when the space opened up, beautiful. Louis Bielbarri and Pinot are in my heart now. What a way to play rugby. Smash your opponent for the first half and then use your small backs at the end to score a whole bunch of tries. It'll never catch on. I could pick one of those ultra fast backs as my French player of the tournament, if I was a fucking idiot. But I'm not. I won a Super Brew pool. I beat all these fucking losers, and they should never question my rugby knowledge again. So, because I'm that smart, I'm picking Pietro Mavaka. Because the 6-2 and the 7-1 benches relies on having an incredible set piece. You need to win all your scrums, France was second best. You need to win all your lineouts, France were the best, and you need to be able to maul. France were the best by far. For all those things to come to pass, you need a very good hooker who is good at their core role. And Pietro Mavaka was very, very good at his core roles. As good as Dan Sheehan, without the tries. So there you go, Pietro. You are the best player from France, the best team in the tournament, top of my power rankings, where everyone wants to be. Congratulations. I hope you get to go to New Zealand, though you probably won't. And that was the 2025 Six Nations. What fun, what great rugby. See you next year. And that now opens the damn wall for British and Irish Lions squad chat. Isn't that fun? It's already been pretty good being online for this tour. I wasn't really online for last tour, which is probably a good thing. But seeing the home nations already at each other's necks, I'm enjoying it. Who would have thought Andy Farrell selecting guys he knows to win games he needs to would be so controversial? Also controversial is that this video is still going, so I'm going to end it right there. I will see you all next week for some Erk chat and maybe some news because I didn't do a lot this week. Stupid ass rugby update. Why would you believe me? Because I'm a champion and those guys are fucking losers. Bye.